This is FIBA Podcast. Thank you for joining us in our morning daily devotion.
In the run up to the section on worry, Jesus is talking about our treasures. We have the choice of valuing treasures, either temporal or eternal. All temporal treasures, no matter how we clothe them, boil down to money. Jesus is saying what we treasure will control us. In other words, what we value and treasure will become our master. Because we can't serve two masters, what we choose to value will determine the quality of our lives. Our choice of masters is actually limited to God and money, all other masters falling under one or the other. Therefore, Jesus says in Matthew 6:25, do not worry. That sounds almost callous, isn't it? Given that Jesus was speaking to crowds who didn't have deep pockets or strong bank balances. Daily needs are real. Food on the table, beds to sleep, money to pay the school fees, and oh dear, medical expenses. They're all very real. And when there's a struggle to meet those needs, worry is a natural thing. But it's not only the needy and the struggling who worry. While the poor man worries about not having money while being taxed for everything, the rich man worries about having too much money and seeking ways to circumvent tax demands. Worry to a certain extent is perhaps good, since it triggers the brain to find solutions. But you see, worry is not an emotion triggered by circumstance. Worry is a pattern of thinking that has made its way into our psyche. Worry, if it becomes a lifestyle, steals joy and peace. As in the examples of birds, Jesus is saying the antidote to worry is God dependence. But how does this God dependence come? Definitely by faith. But then, our faith is mostly a flickering faith, isn't it? Burns strong at times, wavers at times. But faith is always strengthened by the transformation of the mind. The mind is where the battle is. The mind is where the choice of who to serve is made. When Jesus asks, who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life, he's calling our attention to the humongousness of God, his wisdom and provision, and also calling attention to the minusculeness of our prowess, intelligence, effort, and strength. Contrast this with mammon or money. Mammon has no power except what is given him by sinful humans. Satan, as mammon, is the father of lies, thrives in chaos and confusion. Money and the pursuit of it is often seen as the means of gaining control over our circumstances, our relationships, and our world. But as pursuit deepens, the chaos increases in the mind until worry seems to be the only unchanging pattern of thought. It seems as if Jesus is placing before us the choice of whom we give control of our mind and lives to, God or money. When he asks us to consider that we cannot worry our way to add another hour to our life. God is the giver of life, Genesis 2 and verse 7. Jesus is the author of life, Acts 3 and verse 15. All the knowledge of humans, which is also God-given, is but a shadow of the real knowledge of the Creator and the sovereign controller of the universe. Add to this humongous God a heart of unending love and unfathomable compassion. A God who seeks to be our Father. Earlier, Jesus has asked, which of you, if your son asks for a fish, would give him a snake? If you are who are sinful know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more your heavenly Father? And as Paul declares in Romans chapter 8 and verse 32, God, who did not withhold his only Son, but gave him up for us freely, will he not with him also give us all things that we need for life and living, now and for eternity? Perhaps we need to stop and consider the dilemma of the Christian. We claim Jesus to be our master, but our minds are engaged in the pursuit of money. And therefore, we find ourselves as worrying Christians rather than triumphant Christians. The dichotomy itself is sufficient to trigger a life of peacelessness. And as Jesus has pointed out, we cannot have two masters. We either serve God, throw ourselves on His goodness and grace in all circumstances, and live a careless, worry-free life, or we serve mammon and chase insatiable wealth and power in unending tiresomeness, worrying our way through life. The choice is made easy for us by Jesus' question of our limitedness. Would you choose to let the God who is in sovereign control of all things control your mind so that you can rest like a weaned child in His grace, irrespective of circumstances? If there's a dichotomy in the controlling forces of your life, would you please make a clear choice and choose life, choose God, choose Jesus? Free yourself to live the abundant life that Christ offers.
Dear listener, we are here to stand with you in your time of need. We want to pray with you and for your prayer request. Do you need someone to talk to? We are here for you. Call us or send a message at +91 636 425 2164 +91 636 425 2164. God bless you.